Hi, my name is Jessica. Welcome to my channel, Just You Creations. I am newer to the design world and I have just converted my Epson printer into a sublimation printer. I got it brand new and I was adding the ink and made an accident. So I added the blue ink into the yellow basin accidentally because I was not paying attention and I was just going off of how the inks came in the box when I got my sublimation ink. So I will show you the box that they came in, and that's going to give you a little bit of an idea of how the sublimation ink looked. So I bought the Hippo sublimation ink and they came in this box, and they actually came in as black, blue, magenta, and then yellow at the end. So that's how I added it onto my printer, but now I have since put them in the order as of how they go on my printer. My printer was brand new, so there was no prior ink in it. So it was fairly easy to get this in there. I didn't have to remove any ink until I made the accident. Then I had to remove the blue ink out of the yellow basin and transfer that into where it belonged. So I kind of took the steps that I saw in a lot of videos on how people were removing ink for sublimation ink. It's not the best idea to mix your inks into the wrong basin. It took me a couple test tries to get that tint, that blue tint off, so everything was coming out with like a greenish tint, just because that's what blue and yellow make. So I wanted to test it out to make sure that it no longer came out with any green tint, and the best idea that I had was to make a Tweety bird. So I made this Tweety bird, and as you can see, it came out with good color, and that was my best idea. I did it on a couple other things just to test it out. On here it looks kind of greenish, so you can kind of tell, but it's also the background. That was just, I wanted to test to see how sublimation ink looked on other thing other than just clothing. And like I said, I'm newer to this whole design creation world, so I am learning, and I just wanted to put up this video and hopefully it helps somebody that is turning their ink printer into a sublimation printer. And here comes the video. What I did is I just opened the flip for the printer and I put a pencil as a holder. All right, so now that we have this opened up, I pulled out the little hose to remove the color, and I already tried it once, and this is the syringe that I'm using. All right, so this is probably about the last ones that I need to do. I didn't wear gloves, and that was an error on my part because I just wanted to get this done. So it's coming out with like air now, which means that there's not very much anymore. But I need to figure out how I'm gonna be able to clean this little line, because that belongs to the yellow ink and I'm not sure how strong that one is. Thankfully the printer is brand new, and I noticed it before turning on the printer, so none of the ink went into the reservoir that's in there. So that was a little clip of what I ended up doing. This might not work for everybody, and I'm sure that not everybody makes the mistake of adding the ink into the wrong reservoir. So that is just what I ended up doing. And like I said, what I did was make a couple printouts to get that color going. I would only add a little bit of the yellow at a time. That way I could get that color going and moving and finishing it off by little amounts. And that's just how I made it work for me. Might not be what is best for you, but that's what worked for me, and the printer's been running just fine so far. So again, you can take these steps to remove your ink to put in sublimation ink, make sure that you remove everything before you do add your sublimation ink. Like you saw there, when I was pulling the last little bit of the blue ink, air started like to pull out. And that's how I knew that in that area, there was no more ink that I could take out with the syringe. So I do suggest to run the printer with to just finish up your ink, and that way it will probably work better for your sublimation. But I wish you all luck. Thank you for watching. Bye. Subscribe.